Hey learners, welcome back. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is Financial Statement of Companies. In this chapter, specifically we are going to learn about the two main financial statements, that is balance sheet and statement of profit and loss. But before we actually get in, let's have a quick look onto the format of all the 5 types of financial statements that is prescribed as per Section 2, Subsection 40 of the Indian Companies Act. They are balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity and notes to accounts. So here we go. Relevant formats. Now the first format that I'll be showing you is about the balance sheet, that is at the end of the financial year. So here you have the format. I hope all of you can see the format. Let me zoom it out so that you get a clear view of it at once. So this is how actually my balance sheet looks. What is different over here? It is different in the form that now my balance sheet has 4 columns. Okay? The first column where I write down all the particulars. Second is my note number. Third is where I write the closing balance. Okay? Closing balance of the current accounting year. If I'm taking into account year 2021, then the closing balance of March 2021 will be put over here, and the fourth column is my figures at the end of the previous reporting period. That means closing balance of March 2020 will be put over here. Clear? So these are the 4 columns that we have in the balance sheet format for my company accounting. Clear? Over here, this part refers to my liabilities part, showing me the liabilities total, and here are my assets part, showing my assets total. Now as we all know, the assets side will be equal to the equity and liability side. So this is also common for this. Now if we have a look onto the upper part, how is it shown? We write down the name of the company, then we write balance sheet as at 31st March 2021. Okay, whatever be my closing date, I have to use the words as at, and then I will write down the closing date. So this was an overall format just to give you a look. Next, we shall move into looking into the format for statement of profit and loss. So the second financial statement whose format I would be showing you is my statement of profit and loss. So let's have a look onto that, how it looks. So this is how my statement of profit and loss looks. I have already told you that statement of profit and loss is nothing but it is just the PL account that we used to prepare. Maybe in case of non-profit organizations or in case of partnership, right? So when we talk in terms of companies, we do not call it a PL account. Instead, we call it a statement of profit and loss. Okay? So this is how it looks. Over here on the upper part, we write the name of the company. Suppose X Limited, profit and loss statement for the year ended 31st March 2021. Correct? This will be my upper part. Then I shall begin with drawing with the format. Now over here also, like the balance sheet, we have 4 columns here. First column is my particulars column. Second column is my note number. Third column is for my current closing balance. Okay, and fourth column will be my column for recording the previous year's closing balance. Okay, and then in particulars we have items like revenue from operations, other income, revenue, total revenue, expenses. Now how do we actually calculate profit? We can only calculate profit when we subtract our expenses from our total revenue, right? Same concept would be applied here. In Roman 1 and Roman 2, I calculate my total revenue. Okay, I calculate my total revenue means I calculate my total income. Once my total income is calculated over here, what do? I subtract all of my expenses. I calculate all the expenses and I write down total expenses. So I have a set of total income over here in Roman 3. I have my total expenses over here in Roman 4. Now what do? In Roman 5, what do I calculate? Roman 5 you can also say as step number 5. In step number 5, what I calculate? I calculate my profit before tax. That is total revenue minus total expenses. You can see it's written over here 3 minus 4. What is 3? 3 is total revenue, 4 is total expenses. Clear? After that, in case we are required to subtract any kind of tax, because generally companies, they have to pay some tax. So suppose the tax is 50%. So whatever be my profit, 50% will be subtracted as tax, and what I get at last is my profit after tax. Clear? So this was basically an overall idea related to my statement of profit and loss. I hope you got it clear. Next, what we have in hand is the format for cash flow statement. Now what is cash flow statement? Cash flow statement is a statement which helps us to know the cash inflows and cash outflows going on in a business organization. Okay, so to record that, we have a format something like this. I have already discussed in my previous videos that in cash flow statement, what do? We record our sources into 3 types. First is my operating activity, second is my investing activity, and third is my financing activity. Based on the source from which I am getting the cash, suppose I am selling off an asset. So when I sell off an asset, I get some cash. Now that cash will be categorized under investing activities. Okay, understood this example? So similarly, we categorize each and every source either into operating activities or into investing activities or into financing activities, and then we calculate how much cash has actually inflowed or flowed out of my business. So this is cash flow statement. You have seen how it works, and more details we shall be learning in the cash flow chapter, which we have as a separate chapter. You all must be knowing it. Next is my statement of changes in equity. Now what is statement of changes in equity? It tells us about the capital structure of the business, how much equity it has, how much it has reinvested. Okay, that thing. See over here is the format of changes in equity. Suppose how much was your previous year adjustments, how much you have issued the shares, what is your surplus. Okay, now one more thing I would like to add over here, that statement of changes in equity is just as an introduction purpose over here only. Later on throughout our Part B course, there is no chapter based specifically on statement on changes on equity. Okay, so over here just you need to understand what is statement of changes in equity, and that's it. That we have already discussed while discussing the types of financial statements. Okay, so done with this. Next, what we have in hand is my notes to accounts. Now notes to account is a very interesting thing. What you have already seen this term while looking onto the formats for balance sheet and the statement of profit and loss. Now your question may arise that what is notes to accounts? Notes to accounts are the supportive information that we need to provide during the preparation of the financial statements. For example, just have a look onto the format, then things will be more clear to you. Now what you can see in front of you, this is a balance sheet, right? I told you now balance sheet has 4 columns. First there will be equity and liabilities, then we'll have assets, there will be total. Clear? So this is a balance sheet. Now what you need to notice over here is that in the notes column you have written numbers as 1, 2. Now what is this 1, 2 referring as? It is referring to the share capital. Share capital is referred to as number 1 and reserves and surplus is referred to as number 2. That means more information regarding share capital is provided in note number 1. Now where is note number 1? Once I finish off looking onto the balance sheet, I get a specific space called as the notes to accounts. See, notes to account number 1. Share capital. What is the share capital showing? It is giving me some additional information, like in my share capital how much equity share capital is there and how much preference share capital is there. I get a breakup over here. Breakup as in my equity share capital is 2 lakh for the year 2006 and my preference share capital is 30,000 for the year 2006, making it a total of 2 lakh 30. Now this 2 lakh 30 is actually shown when I look onto the balance sheet. See, when I look onto the balance sheet, the total is given 2 lakh 30. But in case I want to know that how much has been my breakup, I will take the help of notes to accounts and then I will look onto it. This is basically the notes to accounts. Clear? So this was about the formats of the financial statements.